And the title is Finland Needs to Be Honest About Finland, when nation branding clashes with lived reality. Life for many people in the world's happiest country, and notice that he puts that in quotation, can be very different from the image projected by state agencies and social media. According to a guest on Wiley News APN podcast. Oh my god, where did I get these hiccups from? The image Finland projects to the world does not necessarily tally with the breadlines and unemployment queues that have both become increasingly longer in recent years. Finland is usually considered to be a trust-based society, where corruption is low, confidence in public institutions is relatively high, and if someone says something, they usually mean it. But is Finland being honest about Finland? I do think that the benefits of life in Finland are often highlighted and overstated, and there's not enough attention paid to the potential downsides, such as a very poor job market, he said, and I end quote. Finland, therefore, needs to be more honest about Finland. And I agree 100%. You know, so, you know, it's just proof that I am not making stuff up. People are experiencing this. As the news said, this is published by the Finnish news agency, YLE. They need to be honest about Finland, you know what I mean? And this is the situation for many foreigners. Many of them end up leaving. They pretend as if they want to keep foreigners here on the media, but behind closed doors, they make rules and laws that negatively impact how well we can integrate here. For example, the government has cut funding to integration programs. And, you know, so they in the media, they say one thing, but behind closed doors, they do another. And I'm just showing you the proof. My personal hypothesis is that every single person living in a country called the world's happiest country should be happy, regardless of if they live in the country for work or as a student. Let's continue with this hypothesis in mind. My hypothesis is that in a country that calls itself the world's happiest country, everyone living in that country, whether they are working or they are studying, they should also experience this same so-called happiness. But I'm going to show you an article where foreign students struggle to find work. Look at this headlines. Foreign university graduates struggle to find work. Highly educated foreigners in Finland have trouble finding jobs matching their qualifications. Foreign graduates from Finnish universities face challenges in gaining a foothold in the Finnish job market. According to data combined by the think tank Akava Works at the request of Finnish news agency STT. The report indicates that only around a quarter of highly educated foreigners in Finland, only a quarter of highly educated, meaning people with bachelor's, master's, and PhD. Only a quarter of highly educated foreigners in Finland work in positions aligning with their degrees 1 year after graduating, compared to 63% of Finnish graduates. A quarter of foreign students get a job aligning with their studies 1 year after graduation. That is such a long wait. So foreign students can't get jobs. So Is this even taken into account when determining the world's happiest country? By right, I think that since students are residing here, they should also be contacted for this survey, but I doubt they are doing that. So with numbers like these, man, how is this country truly happy when the job situation is so terrible? Young Ukrainians leaving Finland in search of work by the thousands. Young Ukrainians leaving Finland in search of work by the thousands. Unfortunately, my life in Finland was not successful. I tried to do everything I could. I feel like this country doesn't want me here, she says. And I feel the same way sometimes. Because after my bachelor's, I couldn't even get a job after sending so many applications. And I was speaking Finnish at that time as well. So, as you know, the war in Ukraine forced many of them to seek refuge in other countries, and many of them came to Finland. But now many of them are leaving. This girl worked as a makeup artist, then as a canteen worker in university, but her job ended due to renovations and she has been out of work for 6 months. And I quote, "Since then I haven't been able to work anywhere, even though I have all the hygiene certificates, qualifications to serve alcohol, and I speak 4 languages," she said, end quote. And I quote again, "Unfortunately, my life in Finland was not successful. I tried to do everything I could. I feel like this country doesn't want me here," the end quote. Yeah, man, so it's crazy. And if you go down towards the bottom, it says 40,000 have already left. Why would 40,000 people want to leave the world's happiest country if it was really happy? Since the attack on Ukraine started, Finland granted protection to around 90,000 Ukrainians. Currently, around 50,000 of them remain in Finland. If the country is really so happy, why are so many people leaving? Clearly means that it's not. And the data says otherwise. Half of university students report loneliness. I would like to say that in university, you normally would expect that you can easily make friends and find a community. But in Finland, that's often not the reality of many foreigners like myself. You would more than likely end up with foreigner friends in school than Finnish friends. Because the culture here is an introverted culture. So even in the university where you would expect that you can make friends like that, it doesn't happen as easily as in other countries like America or Canada, UK, for example. This survey or this report was based on both foreign students and Finnish students. Some 51% of university students say they have felt lonely, according to a new survey by NUTI, a student mental health association, and Helsinki Missio, a group working to combat loneliness in Finland. And I might add that they are trying to do the impossible. You can't combat loneliness in Finland. It's an introverted culture. So loneliness will always be a thing, and I'm gonna prove that these people who are trying to combat loneliness are just wasting their time. The respondents said feelings of loneliness impacted managing daily activities, mental health, fatigue, skipping classes, etc. I have personally struggled from this when I just moved to the country, coming from Jamaica. I really was sad and depressed. I felt invisible. But now I'm used to it, more or less used to it. But for someone who just come to Finland, they're gonna be so depressed and sad. So last year, towards the end of the article, Last year, a Turku University student found that loneliness tripled between 2016 and 2022. It's tripled, which means that up to a fifth of people in Finland felt lonely, an indication that Finns are increasingly lonely despite the end of pandemic-related restrictions. So even after COVID, they were still lonely. But I'm not surprised because it's an introverted culture, and they are taught from children to give people their own peace, don't disturb anyone, don't talk to anybody, silence is golden, and all of this stuff. So I'm gonna prove that the people who are trying to combat loneliness are wasting their time. This article is more than 15 years old, and at the time, 15 years ago, the President Halonen, loneliness is a real problem in Finland 15 years ago, and these people are trying to combat loneliness nowadays, and it was a problem 15 years ago, and they couldn't solve that in 15 years. So what are these people trying to fix? They're trying to combat the impossible, because they will never get rid of loneliness, and they are just wasting their time and their energy. I think they should just not try and just accept the reality that this is just a country where people experience loneliness. 15 years ago, loneliness a real problem in Finland. President Tarja Halonen has characterized loneliness as a real and serious problem faced by all age groups in Finland. Her comments came in a TV address opening the annual Collective Responsibility fundraising campaign. So 15 years ago, it's a real and serious problem faced by all age groups. 15 years ago. I'm telling you. President Halonen said that a child or a young person could experience loneliness as a sign of failure or rejection. I felt that way when I just moved here. I felt like I was rejected. And she says, so young people too need to feel a sense of belonging, being a part of life, and having friends helps to create one's own strengths, as well as learning to cope with everyday life and in personality building. Yeah, so these people, so you know, to be honest, man, the loneliness was there 15 years ago, and these people are gonna try to fix it. I think they are wasting their time. So 2024, they are trying to fix it in 2024. What's the purpose of that organization trying to combat loneliness? They cannot fix it. It's been a problem since at least 15 years ago, and it still hasn't been fixed. And it will, hopefully, when more of the immigrant kids grow up and most of the older people die out, then that's when we will start to have a more social Finland and less loneliness, because the Finnish people with immigrant backgrounds tend to be a bit more outgoing. Headline: this article is 4 years old. Can dry January help quench Finland's thirst for alcohol? Alcohol-related problems in Finland cost 1.6 billion euros annually. State booze monopoly alcohol rings up sales of 1.2 billion. When Finnish people drink, they are completely different. Their whole personality changes. They are more social. They want to talk. But the fact that they have to drink to do this just shows you how introverted they are. And Eloranta noted that currently about 500,000 people in Finland can be classified as excessive drinkers, aka alcoholic. APN's guest agreed that public health officials have good reason to be concerned about how some people consume alcohol. So, is it getting dark or something? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately I didn't even realize that. The coordinator says that Finnish companies lose up to 500 million euros a year because of excessive alcohol consumption. If you think about the sick leaves, the disability pensions, workers not coming to work, or working less than they should, or just becoming sick, she said. In child welfare, the costs are quite heavy. In half of these cases, child welfare checks are because of intoxication of the parents or problems with alcohol, for example. It just shows you, bro, like, this article was 4 years ago. Finland also won the title 4 years ago, but how was data like this not included? THL, cocaine, amphetamine use on the rise in Finland. Wastewater analysis suggests that cocaine use is at an all-time high in some Finnish cities. This was in 2024. Finland also won the title for world's happiest country. But how, when so many people are on drugs? How? Cocaine is increasingly used in smaller Finnish cities and towns beyond the capital region, according to THL's latest wastewater study. How are you the happiest country and so many people are on drugs? I'm just going to show you another headline here, which is in Finnish. It says, this is translated as, this is how young people are dying because of drugs in Finland. The world's happiest country, right? And you have headlines like this. 3 tragic stories reveal why young people in Finland have died on drugs. The most in Europe. The most. It's crazy. The happiest country. Happiest country, right? But, you know, I'm doing this video to get people to realize that not everything that you see on the internet is the reality. My personal opinion in all of this is that the country wants to maintain its reputation on the internet as the happiest country. So some amount of money might be paid to these researchers to use only the good data from the survey, because they don't want to lose their precious reputation of the world's happiest country. So the data says otherwise. Food banks. Foreign students increasingly relying on food banks, church says. A church in Helsinki says it's seeing more foreign students line up for food. You know, bread lines in Finland. Shocking, right? World's happiest country, right? Sure. Everyone living in the country should be happy. The foreign students come here, they want to get jobs to work part-time and provide for themselves, but they can't even get that because the job situation is so bad. So how are these things ignored when determining the world's happiest country? Because clearly, one set of people are definitely not happy, and those are the immigrants who came here to study. So the church says this: they have seen between 600 and 700 people arrive every week when they distribute food. More students started lining up last fall, according to the pastor. It's a sign that many international students are struggling financially. Here it's hundreds of students, and many other organizations are noticing the same phenomenon. In many cases, foreign students from beyond the EU have paid 10,000 to 15,000 euros to come here to study. They came here thinking it would be easy to find a job in Finland, that they could work while studying to support themselves. But today's reality is different. Now many of them are desperate. So the pastor criticizes how the universities market themselves abroad, saying students have shown in promotional materials portraying life in Finland as idyllic. This marketing suggests that finding a job is easy and they can earn 2,000 euros a month while studying. The students I speak with say that finding a job is impossible. It's even difficult to get an unpaid internship. It's true. When I was doing my bachelor's, we had to do mandatory internships in order to graduate. I couldn't even get a position from a company, and it was unpaid. They wouldn't even give me an unpaid internships. I had to end up doing it with the school that I was studying at. So these facts speak against this so-called world's happiest country. The data says otherwise, man. Tampere Food Bank use more than doubles in 6 years. The types of people waiting in the queue included young adults, families with children, the elderly, and a large number of immigrants. So even Finnish people are lining up at bread lines. It's crazy. You can read the article if you want, but I'm just showing you the headlines. This was this year also.